Recently, I made a video where I was kind of maybe complaining a little bit about my current system, or at least I was kind of daydreaming about switching over to an electric system. I failed to mention a lot of the positive things because at the end of the day, I really do enjoy brewing on the current system that I have. So today, what I thought I would do is go over why I really enjoy brewing on my current system. And I'm going to make a Saison for summer. Well, let's get brewing. I have always loved being outdoors, whether I'm spending time in my garden or playing some catch with the kids out in the front. I spend most of my free time outside. So, what does any of this have to do with my current system? I can brew outside! For those of you that don't know, I currently brew in a 15-gallon kettle using the brew-in-a-bag method over a propane burner. One of the great things about this setup is that I can brew basically anywhere I can carry my equipment, including outside. There are a few other YouTubers that brew outside on a system that's set up similar to mine. If you're interested in brewing a bag or using propane or just how to make beer in general, I highly recommend checking out both of their channels. Watching their videos always makes me wonder why I always brew in my garage. So, since the weather was nice today and I'm brewing a slightly smaller batch than normal, I thought I'd do this one in the backyard. So now seems like a good time to talk about the beer. One of the first batches of beer that I ever made was a Saison, and there's a couple reasons for that. When I first started brewing, I was mainly brewing over the summertime, and here in the Central Valley, it gets really hot. Before I had fermentation temperature control, I would have to kind of brew and use yeast that was a little happier at warmer temperatures. Here in the summertime, in our house, it's typically right around 78 degrees. So I had to be a little bit picky with the type of yeast that I used, and that limited me to a few styles. I would always kind of typically look at the yeast first, and that usually pointed me to some Belgian strains, and one of the best beers to brew with a Belgian strain, or in my opinion, I am partial to, is a Saison. And since I enjoy Saisons quite a bit, I ended up brewing quite a few. So today I'm shooting for a slightly lower alcohol Saison, something that's going to be easier to drink as the weather starts to warm up here in the valley. And because my larger fermenter is full right now, I'm only going to be brewing a 4-gallon batch. So for the grain bill on this one, I'm using 6 pounds of Pelton, which is Mecca Grade's Pilsner Malt. I'm using 1 pound of their Rimrock Rye, which is a Vienna-style rye malt, 8 ounces of white wheat, 5 ounces of Caravienne, and then I will be throwing in the boil 5 ounces of Candi Syrup as well. So another reason that I really like my system is speed. No, not that speed. No, not that one either. It's fast. Using propane is fast. There are actually quite a few reasons why I really do like my system. Brewing a bag is cheap. You don't need electricity. There's no pumps involved. I can just use gravity, so if the power goes out, I can still brew beer. It heats up water super fast. I can brew outside. I can brew pretty much anywhere I can carry all my stuff. Now, is my system perfect? No, it's not. We don't want to say anything in front of you know who. Well, here we are in the garage. It is on the evening of my summer Saison brew day. Brewed outside, which I don't normally do, and because I was outside, I kind of wanted to brew in the afternoon. Well, we had some plans, and my brew day was starting to I was realizing somewhere around the start of the boil that my brew day was going to need to get cut short. I was going to need to have to do something. So my plan was to mash for 60 minutes and boil for 60 minutes. But I ended up mashing for about 45 minutes. I did not hit my pre-boil gravity, so I was supposed to be at about a 1039, and I hit 1030. And then my boil, I was like, there was no way. I knew I was going to have to stop the boil short because we were going to have to leave. So I just ended up doing a 45-minute boil. I added the candy sugar. When I took my final gravity reading, I was at a 1042, which I was supposed to be at a 1051. So my summer Saison is going to be probably more like a summer session Saison. You know, I tasted the wort. Tasted fine. It's just going to be lighter, but that's kind of what I was going for anyway. So I don't know if this is going to be a bad thing or not. It's going to end up being about a 4.1%, depending on what the final gravity is, but somewhere around a 4% beer, which I think might be okay. So the next time I see you, it'll be at the tasting. I'm actually, based on the flavor of the wort, I'm actually really excited about this one. See you then. I fermented this one with White Lab's WLP565 Belgian Saison Yeast, and after 8 days of fermentation at around 80 degrees, it had dropped to 1.004, leaving me with 4.9% ABV. So I racked it to a keg, and I let it condition for another 6 days. Today was the last day of school. It's officially summer. Day of school. It's summer, 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 summertime, summertime. There it is, the summer Saison. So this beer threw me for a little bit of a loop. Brewfather was estimating my final gravity with the yeast that I was using, the Belgian Saison yeast, to be 1011. That's why I threw the sugar in there, the candy sugar, because I thought that would help maybe dry it out, because typically that's like not dry enough for a Saison. Finished at a 1004, which is super dry. So I ended up getting a 4.9% beer. So I'm actually kind of glad I didn't hit my numbers originally at the beginning for my original gravity, because if I would have, and it would have dried all the way down to 1004, then I would have ended up with like a 6% beer, which is not what I wanted. So I got 4.9%. As you can see, nice. It's got a nice like white head. It is not clear yet. It is still a little hazy, but I do think that after a little bit of time in the keg, it will clear up. Yeah, typical Belgian Saison. I get a lot of clove. I mean, it's like all yeast character. That's like all I get. I can't really smell anything else. Clove, I just get clove. I don't get any alcohol. Yeah, it smells like cloves to me. So like the body on it is definitely light. I mean, it is only 4.9%. I get a little bit of lemony character in there, and I actually do taste a little bit of the alcohol too. Even though it's only 4.9%, I get kind of like an alcohol-y taste. So I guess those would be fusel alcohols. Probably because it was fermented pretty warm. I get a little bit of banana character in there, and a little bit of that clove character. It definitely smells more like cloves than it tastes. At 1004, it finishes really, really dry. It is a very dry finish. And like in the mid palate, that's when I get like kind of the malts, just like a slight like white bread character. It is kind of what I hoped for, being very refreshing. I wish it had maybe a little bit more hop character to it. I do think it'll benefit from a little bit more time conditioning. I really find that Saisons are a style that kind of benefit from a little bit more conditioning time. I actually think that they're quite good bottle conditioned as well too. I was almost gonna bottle this one up. I decided not to because I don't like bottling beer. Just don't like that process. I'd much rather put it in a keg. Let me know what you think about bottling beer down in the comments. As for me, I don't like it. I'd much rather keg it. And so I keg this one, but we'll let it condition for a little bit longer. I do think it'll clear up. Hey, let me take this time right now to say thank you for watching. I appreciate all the views. Like, subscribe, comment, and most of all, stay thirsty. Cheers. Let me introduce you to one of my friends. His name is Pete. Pete the cat. How are you, dude? It's empty. Time to go refill.